Bethel, welcome. Thank you for being with us this evening. The little green button. There you go. Thank you.
All right. Well, good evening, Mayor and council members. It is a privilege and an honor to be with you this evening, and I thank you for the opportunity for this invocation. I also thank God for each and one of you and for making prayer a part of your council meetings. In the book of Genesis, the patriarch Jacob, he blessed Pharaoh when he stood before him. And in the same spirit, it is our privilege as the church to bless those who serve our community by praying for them. So if you would, please bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for Mayor Fetty and for each member of this council. We also thank you for our first responders and for all those who faithfully serve our community. Thank you for the wisdom you have given them. I pray your special blessing upon each of them and their families. Continue to grant them wisdom, integrity, and discernment as they make decisions that affect our city. Protect them as they serve our community. Guide their words, their actions, and their visions so that they may lead with justice, humility, and compassion. We also pray for the families of our city and our schools, our businesses, our churches, and for those that are hurting. May our community be a place where peace, justice, and neighborly love flourish. We ask all this in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. All right, please rise for the pledge. All right, Ms. Hoffman, if you can please take roll.
Mr. Cahill,
Present.
Mr. Farmer,
Here.
Ms. Fields,
Here.
Mr. Hermes,
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas,
Here.
Ms. Nicely,
Present.
Ms. Reckers, Ms. Skidmore, Ms. Wilson.
Here.
Thank you so much. All right, you've received a copy of the minutes for the June 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Mr. Farmer, Ms. Wilson, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. You've also received a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Ms. Nicely, Mr. Farmer, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. We'll get started with our special presentation this evening, which is our business spotlight. We have Stewart Ironworks. I'm going to turn it over to Lauren.
Hi, everybody. The City of Erlanger has selected Stewart Ironworks as its July Business Spotlight, recognizing the company's longstanding history, skilled craftsmanship, and continued impact on the local economy in Erlanger. Stewart Ironworks is a nationally recognized leader in commercial and ornamental metalwork, known for its custom metal packages and dedication to high-quality, handcrafted production. The company's origins date back to 1862, when the company relocated from Cleveland, Ohio to nearby Covington, Kentucky. Driven by rapid growth and even greater demand, the company became one of the largest ornate metalwork manufacturers in the country. Each piece is marked with a distinctive physical seal, appearing in notable locations such as benches in Central Park, fixtures at the U.S. Capitol, the Kentucky Governor's Mansion, and my favorite as a crime junkie, Alcatraz. We are proud to recognize Stewart Ironworks as our July Business Spotlight. I would now like to welcome Bill Morgan, VP of Operations, up to the podium to speak a little bit more about the company.
Thank you. I'm Bill Morgan. What a nice community. I really appreciate you having us, and thank you, Council. I'm actually a Hoosier, and so I started working out here about 6 months ago, and just love it. It's a great community and a lot of resources available, and so we appreciate the support. We appreciate the prayers for the businesses in Erlanger, so shout out for Stewart to God directly. And our competitors, you could just keep that to yourself. I'm good with that. I'm real proud of the company. It is established in 1862, and we were the biggest iron fence company, ornamental company in the world for quite a long time. This is, if you walk down in Covington, Ludlow, Cincinnati, you're going to see these. It's like a brainworm now that I work there. I see them everywhere I go. But this is the Stewart Shield, and it is 130 years, 122 years old. And it's a great company. We focused on ornamental iron for a long, long time. More recently here in Erlanger, we're doing more commercial stuff. If you're familiar with us, we're owned by the Huesman Group, and the Huesman Group is a larger construction company in Cincinnati. They did things like the remodel of Music Hall. They just finished the big Gwynn building, which is the Fidelity Hotel about to open up in Cincinnati, and we did all the staircases, a lot of the railings, ironwork in there. So we're doing a lot of commercial stuff now. And that's really important. If you think, okay, well, all the way back to World War I, we were building one-ton trucks. The trucks lasted through the war, and then we started building cages, because really in the 1920s, crime was a real big thing, right? So we were building cages and locks for Alcatraz and different prisons. But that can only last so long. So the Huesman Group bought us in 2019, and they have a millwork group. They have Stanton Millworks. They build cabinets. They've got a Trade 31 that does repair of like the Roebling Bridge. When the rocks were falling off, they were out there fixing that. They do stadiums and concrete work. The Huesman Group is the big group like that did the Fidelity building. And so between that makes us a really strong element in a bigger group. And that's why we've got a certain magic and trajectory now that's coming back up. And so we hope to be a bigger employer as we grow here in Erlanger and be a very special kind of unique business located here. Our stuff is beautiful. As you'll see, we do forge things. We still make handmade gates and fences and decorative work. In the Ruby's Steakhouse is our decorative ironwork still. But overall, it's a place I'm very proud to be with, and it's one of the first times my career has intersected with art, and I'm just really enjoying it that way. So you're going to see a video. I lived on farm, and I spent 15 years running a packaging business, high-speed manufacturing. And finally, I get to work somewhere where we got a forge, and I got a blacksmith. It's really an interesting place. If you want to, give me a call. I left my literature out there, but we can arrange for anyone to visit and see the place as well. So that's kind of sum up. If there's any questions before we watch the video or anything else. All right, well, let's roll that footage.
There's Stewart ironwork gates and fences around the White House, every cell in Alcatraz, Central Park in New York.
We opened in Covington in 1862. The Huesman Group bought this Stewart in 2019. We do a lot of stuff for stadiums and libraries and government buildings.
I'm here like 26 years. You know, they have to be practice and practice.
These were hand done without a CNC, without controls of a computer, and yet he gets to spin all the same size, and he's got to do that over and over and over again. He'll tell you right away. It's easy to make a scroll. It's not easy to make 100 of them that look exactly the same, and he's really something else. It's just wonderful watching him work and produce products like this.
I think Erlanger's been a great home. It's been very supportive. We've had a lot of visitors from the city of Erlanger, and I think we're strong here. The impression that I think a lot of people like to make in businesses and banks and commercial businesses is strength and beauty. And when you see something beautiful that is super strong and it's going to last 150 years, that's an impression you might want to make on a client.
That was fantastic. That was very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and the invitation to come and see your workshop. Very cool. Very cool. Very good. Well, you guys let us know how we can be of service to you, okay? Thank you. All right. Comments of those other than council members? We have 2 signed up. This evening, our first one is Ralph. Come on down, Ralph.
It's been 4 years last month since I was last up here. It has gone really, really quick. I can't tell you how much hours I spent just in this room or in the audio-video room recording past council meetings on chickens. You know, enough chicken meetings, but what I'm here to talk about is the Dixie Farmers Market. I am the market manager. This is my 3rd year. I learn something new every week from the farmers and from the vendors. They all work really hard. I have 15 spots, 16 counting mine, and I'm at capacity. I have no more room this year so far. I have a wide variety of vendors. I have everything from jams and jellies to pancake mix to honey to sourdough bread to freeze-dried candy, eggs. I have a vendor who sells organic vegetables, and a young lady that the mayor knows who is really super nice, makes apple butter, which I grew up on. It's really good. Our hours are from 2 to 6 on Thursday, all the way until the last Thursday in October. This community really loves their farmers market. I feel like I told Tyson earlier, you know you're doing something good when you see a lot of repeat people coming back. It's not a very big market, but like I said, I have 15 spots and I'm full. I bought some goodies in with me. Please take them home with you, because if you don't, I have to. It's a wonder I don't weigh 300 pounds. But unless you guys have any questions, I'll stay here for the entire meeting and wait outside, because if you don't take it with you, I'm going to put it in your purses or whatever I can do. Any questions?
Ralph, I just want to say thank you. All of your service to the city has been incredible, and I think it was Sherry that came to me, and she's like, I've got this great idea. What if Ralph ran the farmer's market? I'm like, oh my gosh, how did we not come up with this sooner? It's amazing. You just put your absolute heart and soul into everything that you do. Your care and compassion for others, it just oozes out of you. So thank you so much for everything that you do. I know the farmers love you. I've heard it. So thank you for everything.
Yeah, and I told you a long time ago, I was kind of a little worried about it because they're farmers, and I'm kind of off the wall, but they're crazier. They're crazier than I am. Believe me, they're crazier than I am. But it's been fun. Like I said, I learn something new every week. You know, if you guys get an opportunity on a Thursday, I know you're busy, stop by. Okay. I'll introduce you to them the best I can. We're kind of steady right now, but probably in the next week or two, we'll really ramp up, because a lot more of the vegetables will be coming in, so we'll be super busy.
When are the tomatoes getting there?
Probably another 2 weeks, maybe.
Okay.
The earlier rain really, you think the farmers would love rain, but sometimes if it comes too early, it actually does more damage than it does.
Okay.
And then we had those storms 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I had one farmer lose 50 peach trees.
Oh, no.
And they can't make that up, but yeah, in a couple more weeks probably.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Ralph. All right. Next individual on the list is Erin Clemens. Welcome.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm hungry. Thank you very much. Okay, so my name is Erin Clemens, and I am here as an autism advocate and an adult on the autism spectrum myself to actually ask the city of Erlanger to recognize everyone in the community who is on the autism spectrum by officially recognizing Autism Awareness and Acceptance Day, which is April 2nd, and Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month, which is in April. And I am asking you to give give people on the autism spectrum visibility in our community. A few ideas on what the city could encourage the community to do would include lighting up buildings blue, that's an awareness symbol, sharing stories from the autism community, especially from those on the autism spectrum, and help to educate the local community about autism through informative displays or training initiatives, things like that. I realize that April is 9 months away or something like that, but I wanted to bring this up now so that the city of Erlanger could be prepared to recognize April 2nd as Autism Awareness and Acceptance Day and April as Autism and Awareness and Acceptance Month beginning in 2027. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Erin. All right. That concludes public comment. Okay. Next on the agenda is the mayor's report. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about this evening and recognize some important updates that you are seeing happening throughout our city. First, I wanted to remind everyone that the Amber Run Dog Park ribbon cutting will be this Thursday from 4 o'clock to 6 p.m. This is such an exciting milestone for Eons and for our entire community, and I hope everybody will be able to attend with their puppies. I especially want to thank our Public Works Department. They took on a challenge. I don't know if you guys have seen the dog park yet, but they took on the challenge of laying sod for the first time, and this is not anything that they had ever done before, and they taught themselves how to do it. They rented the proper equipment, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like the level of teamwork that went into making this happen. Even the guys that were in the office, they were out in the dog park getting their hands dirty. Every single person in Public Works played a role in this. I also want to give a huge shout out, because I know he's probably watching. Tim Aubrey created an irrigation system. I mean, it's incredible. He used to work for Northern Kentucky Water, so he has like an extensive background in water pressure, and how to make the flow proper. So he set up quite the irrigation system for the dog park, for the sod, to make sure that it was able to flourish and be nice and green for the opening. And he just did a tremendous job. Bob Martin. So if you know Bob Martin, he is our sign guy. So he works in our sign shop in Public Works. He creates all of the banners that you see throughout the city, the honor banners, the Christmas banners, the city beautification banners, and now he has added the Eons of Puppy Love banners to his extensive portfolio, and they're just the cutest thing ever. So the program, for 2 years, for $150, you can honor your dog. It can be in loving memory, or it can be a dog that's going to go play in the park starting Thursday. So yeah, more information about that on our website if you guys are interested in getting a banner. Next, I want to talk about the bike park. So Dave Huff, he is the owner of Innovative Dirt Solutions, and he has been working on our bike park. So if you've been up there to take a look at the jump line, so he has created a 1,000-foot jump line. He will have a pump track and then the beginner skills course, and that's for the younger kids. So there really will be something for beginner, intermediate, and advanced bikers. And whether you're BMX or your mountain bikes, any bike can go onto these tracks, onto these trails. And he's just done an exceptional job. And he's had, quite some challenges to contend with, some that were out of his control. It rained for the majority of May, so that was a challenge. He had a little bit of vandalism that he had to work with, a little bit of theft that he had to work with. So Dave Huff deserves tremendous kudos for his creativity and his diligence to getting this project to perfection. This is his home, so he does these types of parks all over the country, but this one is especially important to him. So he's been meticulous and very intentional with the design and making sure that, all of his friends that live local, like they're going to be paying attention to this one. It has a very big spotlight on it, and people are pretty excited. We're starting to hear the buzz. All right, so that's about the dog park. I also want to talk about Sherborne Park. The parking lot is now complete. So we have 6 spots up there. That's something that was really needed. It had no parking previously, and Sherborne is a huge subdivision. So we wanted to be able to make sure that we had a few parking spots for the people that live much further away, where it's more challenging to walk all the way to the park. So that has been completed. I want to also take some time to recognize the major operational milestone for our fire department as they move to 24/72 shift schedule. So this change will have a meaningful impact on their work-life balance, the recruitment and retention for our firefighters. This was only made possible because of the outside-of-the-box thinking and true teamwork between our police and fire department, led by Director of Public Safety Kyle Rader, our Police Chief Mike Lemming, and our Fire Chief Randy Gotze, plus every single firefighter and every single police officer, all working together to make this a possibility. I'm not going to go into all of the nuts and bolts of how we made this happen tonight, but the result is incredible. The teamwork between both of those departments, the cross-training that is now happening at our the public safety training facility, the collaboration, the reduced response times that we're seeing, and that enhanced care experience for everyone who lives, works, and plays in Erlanger, it is all worth recognizing. So we're setting a new standard for our region. We're setting a very high bar, and I'm incredibly proud of the leadership, the creativity, and the commitment to making this work. Kyle Rader is an exceptional leader. Absolutely one of the most incredible leaders of our time. All right. Another significant project that is almost complete, I want to call attention to this long-awaited project on Narrows Road, that sidewalk and the road improvements. It was an extreme challenge. I want to thank the team at VOX. We had to rework that design so many times to make it possible. Kevin Quinn, Joe Daugherty, the Wriggler Blacktop team, they all helped get this project across the finish line. Every single person had to be very creative and had a tremendous amount of problem solving. The new crosswalks and speed limit change will, of course, take some adjusting, but this is an incredible connectivity improvement for our city. This project has been worked on since you were mayor, right? I mean, this is a long time in the making because it wasn't just simply a sidewalk project. It had so many challenges that popped up throughout the years. So it took perseverance, creativity, and a lot of problem solving. Lastly, and I'm going to turn it over to you in just a second, so be prepared. I want to share something that I am so beyond excited about. So we have a potential donor for a significant project within EONS on City of Erlanger-owned property. So this is exactly the type of opportunity that we've dreamed of and we've prayed for. And it represents an important milestone in the vision we have been working towards. Because of this opportunity, we will now need to move forward with a memorandum of understanding between EONS Preserve and the City of Erlanger. This will serve as the model for how these types of projects move through the process in a thoughtful, transparent, and responsible way. We are truly building something from scratch that has never been done in Erlanger before. As we grow, we are learning, improving, and refining the process every single day. This is an important milestone achievement not only for EONS, but for the future of how we can create transformational public-private partnerships in our city. Projects like this are a reminder that meaningful progress does not always happen quickly, But when the right people stay committed, we can accomplish things that truly improve the daily lives of residents and our region as a whole. I am grateful to everyone who's helped move these projects forward. I'm proud to see Erlanger continuing to invest in public safety, parks, connectivity, and quality of life initiatives for our community. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jack to discuss the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. So as we had mentioned several months ago, the city was not yet at a point that it needed to have a formal agreement between the Eons Park Preserve and the city of Erlanger, because there really was nothing that was going on between the Eons Park Preserve and the city of Erlanger. But now that's looming. There are several opportunities that are out there, and there's also some potential corporate opportunities that are out there that are all now creating a scenario where we absolutely have to have a formal agreement between not only Eons Park Preserve and the city of Erlanger, but most likely also the Horizon Funds or whatever that entity is. Because what's happening is folks that are wanting to donate are wanting to get a tax deduction for that. So they have to run it through a 501c3, which is kind of being routed through the Horizon Fund. So I have a draft that is about 98% complete. I just need to have a few more conversations with some folks at the Horizon Fund to better understand exactly how the money is going to flow, and also then have those conversations with Kara so that we all understand from a city perspective kind of what is going on behind the scenes. So that draft document, I am hopeful that I could circulate to council at least a week before our next caucus meeting. That's my personal goal. But at a minimum, we will be discussing it at the next caucus meeting along with a municipal order, which we would need for council to bless this formal arrangement between those three entities. And as the mayor said, to kind of create a blueprint for how all these things are going to interrelate, right? So all the questions that everybody's getting, that everybody has, how are we going to deal with maintenance? How are we going to deal with police patrolling? How are we going to deal with how these funds are dealt with? How are we going to deal with management of the funds? How are we going to deal with control of the funds? How are we going to deal with it within the budgeting process? A lot of those things that have been looming out there, frankly, we've had internal discussions as to how we would deal with, but we never had it actually in our face. And now we actually have a situation in our face where we are absolutely required to have a more formal agreement. So again, be glad to talk with anybody offline about that, but I think we're going to have a lot more detailed conversation at the caucus meeting. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thanks, Jack, and thanks for your work on that. All right, City Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. There are a few updates in your packets that you received from me about some of the legislation that we'll consider tonight. So I won't go over those in great detail. I did want to provide one additional update because we don't have a legislative topic on this, but this was related to, well, I guess we do. We have the municipal orders for the accounting policies, procedures, and investment policies and procedures. Just wanted to let everybody know we did find the anonymous reporting box key, and I did search that for the first time. The only thing that was in there were about 6 candy wrappers. So we have had a discussion with staff to please not use that as a trash can, and that is really the only other update other that's in the memo related to the legislation that we have tonight. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for taking out the trash. All right. Mr. Gatlin, do you have anything else?
Nothing, Mayor.
All right. Mr. Collier, do you have any capital projects?
Just a few updates other than the ones that you mentioned, Mayor. The Locust Street project is complete. That project saw full-depth repairs to fix subgrade problems, new curbs, and pull-off parking for the Locust Street Park. So that one is now complete. The Silver Lake Park fence project is also now complete. That was a new 4-board horse fence installed at the entrance. New privacy fence was added, and the tennis court got a new black coated fence, which looks great. Other than that, you mentioned a lot of the things that were happening at Eons. The dog park opening is this week. That is Thursday. One of the things that we also have on the agenda is the Eons Overlook. And we intend to have an opening at the same time that we do the Food and Wine Festival, Lauren. And I don't want to step on your toes too much on that, but a lot of great things happening down there as it relates to our capital projects. Other than that, the Locust Street Park bids for Phase 1 were received in June. VOX is currently reviewing the submissions and will provide a recommendation for contractor selection for us soon. That is all I have on capital projects.
Cool, thank you. Sherry, do you have any updates? Okay, thank you. All right. Reports from task forces. I don't know if we've had any since last meeting. All right, Mr. Collier.
Quite a few bids to go over, so I will do that as expeditiously as I can. Surplus property online auction, we had 2 vehicles that were auctioned by J.J. Kane. The city received $13,000 for those. Road salt, we had 2 bids received. Low bid was awarded to IBG Magic of Kentuckiana. So that's going to be utilized on an as-needed basis, no purchase obligation. The third bid was for our cardiac monitors. That is for our fire department. We did receive 2 bids, and we took the best bid, not the lowest bid on that one. That was awarded to Zoll Medical Corporation. Rationale for that was because that company offered a CPR feedback, which allows the department to conduct post-incident critiques of full arrest operations. So we looked at that and said, that's a better fit for us, so we're going to take the best bid in that circumstance. Home Street and Graves Avenue improvements, we did receive 3 bids on that. Low bid was awarded to Eaton Asphalt for that project. Locust Street Park Phase 2 bids were received on this. Looks like we did have an update from our capital project. We awarded that to John Tumlin and Sons. That was the low bid on that project as well. Police vehicles, 1 bid was received. That was awarded to Don Franklin Chevrolet. And then finally, the police vehicle equipment and installation, we received 2 bids on that. We awarded it to RidgeNet. Again, that was not the lowest bid. That was the best bid. Rationale for that, council, if I have Joe Scroggins' email somewhere here. Excuse me. Well, I have Michael Clark here. Michael, do you have rationale for that you can provide? Yes, please. Chief Fleming, you can come too if you want.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We've used RidgeNet for several years now. The equipment list differences between the two, we're more familiar with the equipment that RidgeNet put on there. We know what we're getting, we know what works. They're familiar with the equipment and kind of what we need to do our jobs on the road. So it's pretty close in price, but the differences there is just because we know what we're getting versus the unknown for really not a whole lot less in price. So.
Any other questions for Chief Lemming or Assistant Chief Clark? Okay. Those are all of the bids that we received this month.
Thanks, Mark. All right, next item on the agenda is unfinished business, front yard fencing amendment. Do you want me to turn it over to you?
Okay, so actually my granddaughter's here tonight. I don't know if they had signed up to speak, but I thought, were you going to speak? I thought she signed up to speak, so. Speak out loud. Say what you're going to say. I just really appreciate. Hi, baby.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I am the grandmother of a 5-year-old autistic nonverbal granddaughter who is an eloper. I would really appreciate the consideration for front yard fencing. I have invested $5,000 in a Vivint security system in case she gets out now. But we've all seen all the news stories. Most of them end terribly. I know that it may not be it's not going to be an absolute, but I'm 50 years old. I am not in the best shape. I am no longer 20 years old, so running after her, she is like a track star. I just need a chance to get to her before she makes it to a pool, to the street. A lot of people don't stop at all the stop signs. So we just need a chance to keep the children safe that don't have the ability to comprehend what they're doing is not safe. I fear for this every single day, that she's going to become a statistic. The stories are just horrific, and I am terrified. I know that the fence would be a deterrent to where at least it gives us time to get to her if she does get out the front door. We're really just asking for that barrier between the safety of our home and the non-safety of the outside world. We just ask that you guys will permit us to put a fence around the front yard to contain her long enough for somebody to grab her up and take her back into the house, or just to keep her contained inside the yard so she can enjoy the front yard without me ending up having to call 911 because I can't make it past a block from my house to keep her safe. So that's what I'm asking, is just for the consideration to keep my granddaughter safe, to not make her be a story that everyone reads and says, oh. Thank you guys so much for your time. I do appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Michelle.
So I think you can kind of see by watching, you can't let your hands off of her. Like, she is older than the other one, but the other one can walk around and be trusted, and the second you let her go, she will run. She will dart. This is what the parents are facing. It is a full-time job. It is constant. And asking these parents to jump through additional hoops to go through an ADA that's not advertised, it's not listed, it's not explained how to do, it's purposefully inconsiderate because we don't want them to have it. And all I'm saying is our society has changed. The peanut allergy situation changed society. Autism has changed society. And I know if you're not dealing with someone who has this, you have no idea what it takes to keep them safe. And so we're responsible for that. It's our emergency services that's going to stop whatever they're doing and go and looking for them. There's lots of things across the nation that has caused this to be a bigger issue. Since we talked about it 3 weeks ago, a mother lost her life because she went in for someone else's kid. I don't know if that was autistic related or not, but it's not just them. It's everyone. And it could happen to even it could happen to our officers or our firefighters if they went in to save them. You're not just putting kids that are imaginary at risk. You're putting real kids at risk to not do it on the grounds of it's not as pretty. I mean, that's basically the argument for not having front yard fences, is it makes our neighborhoods not as pretty. I think that's a poor excuse. I mean, ramps for the front of the house aren't pretty, but we allow those. So it's no different. So that's where I'm at.
Provide a little bit of context for the public. I have provided some of this context via memo. Councilwoman Fields also provided the links that she discussed at the last meeting that was in that memo too. So as it stands right now, we've talked to PDS and I've conferred with Jack a little bit on this as well. There appears to be an existing legal pathway for the city to consider disability-related front yard fencing requests right now. What I would say is if we wanted to codify and allow it across the board, there would be an opportunity for that as well. that would be through a formal text amendment process. So a couple of different ways that you all could consider and go about this, but it does seem like there is a legal pathway for it right now.
So my only feedback with that is you're the city administrator and you had to research it to find that out, which means it's not really there. So I mean, if our citizens can't be expected to find the answer because we can't even find the answer, the path doesn't really exist.
I'm going to find out.
I'm sorry, hold on.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. I'll
Well,
respond.
but Chris also had his hand up as well.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm going to find out how easy or how hard it is, because tonight I submitted a request online for a permit for my own yard to put a front yard fence in, with the reason being that I had a child that I wanted to help prevent elopement. So when PDS calls me about my application, I'm going to pretend that that's what I am, and we'll see how easy or how hard the process is. I felt like there was no way to know what the process really was and if it would be difficult for somebody unless I tried to do it myself. I did notice a couple of things when I went online tonight to apply for a permit. There's 3 options for permits. Fence is not listed on any of them, and that's on the PDS website. I did figure out which one it was, but it doesn't list fence anywhere. You do have to have quite a bit of information just to submit the application for the permit. And if I were truly in this situation, I would want to know if it was approved before I had all of the information that they were asking me for. They were asking me for plans and things like that, which I probably wouldn't go through the trouble to get if I knew it wasn't going to be allowed. So I kind of guessed on some of the answers because I was just kind of doing this on the fly, but I just really wanted to understand from a parent's perspective what the process was. So I don't know if we want to continue this conversation at our next caucus. I certainly don't want to push this down the road. However, I'm curious to see what I find out through my investigation. Because I'm curious to see what information they're going to ask me for. If I say this should be, this should qualify under ADA, I'm curious to see what they ask me for. So, and then we'll know. And then we'll be able to possibly create a process where someone can navigate that.
Chris, you had raised your hand.
So this is going to relate more towards the drowning side of this. As we continue our discussion with front yard fences, I'd like to offer another perspective to council to consider. I believe allowing front yard fences in certain situations is certainly worth discussing, especially when they can help address legitimate safety concerns for children with disabilities. At the same time, I think we also have an opportunity to address the underlying risk itself. As mentioned in the last meeting by Councilwoman Fields, one of the greatest safety concerns for many children with autism is accidental drowning. My own son is currently enrolled in survival swim lessons at Swim Life in Northern Kentucky that teaches children how to respond safely when they unexpectedly enter the water. Unlike traditional swim lessons, they focus primarily on swimming techniques. These programs emphasize water survival skills that can be life-saving. After speaking with Swim Life in Northern Kentucky, I learned more about the specialized instructions they provide, including programs designed for children with autism and other developmental differences. They also shared information with me about a scholarship fund, which helps make these life-saving lessons more accessible to more families. I think it's important that we make our residents aware of resources like this. While the front yard fence may help prevent a child leaving the home unnoticed, providing children with water survival skills addresses the root issue. I'm not suggesting these approaches are mutually exclusive. Rather, I believe it should consider both environmental protections and education as a part of a broader conservation about keeping our children safe. If there's interest from council, I'd be happy to invite representatives from Swim Life to future meetings to share more information about the programs and answer any questions.
I love that idea.
All right, cool. We'll continue the conversation at caucus. Okay, and if you want to go ahead and, I mean, if we're all in agreement, if you want to ask if they can participate in our July 21st meeting.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out. I had sent him an email. I told him I would let it know how tonight goes, and we'll see if we can line something up.
Okay, yeah, and then if they do have like resources, we could potentially put things out on social media. Okay, all right, we'll continue the conversation at caucus. Okay, any new business? Yes.
One thing, since you just mentioned the July caucus meeting and people attending, that was the one that I had asked if the person who had reached out to council members about speed, he wants to speak at the July caucus meeting. He did confirm that. I can't remember if I said that during the last meeting or not. So I do have 2 other new business items. I just didn't want to forget that. Hang on just one second. Okay, so on June 7th, there was a post to the city's social media recruiting volunteers to help with special events, youth programs, park cleanup, and other community activities. In an effort to protect the city from unnecessary expenses and lawsuits, and most importantly, to protect the children in our community, I have a few questions about the protocols in place for these volunteers. I request that these answers be shared publicly in our next meeting, and that council receive a copy of the policies and procedures related to this via email. My questions are we doing at least annual background checks on volunteers working with children? Does our liability insurance include coverage for abuse and molestation? And are defense costs inside or outside policy limits? Do volunteers and employees who work with children go through at least an annual training on abuse and molestation prevention? And do we have insurance for volunteers who may become injured while volunteering for the city? I can email those questions if you want me to. My next issue, and I don't expect answers right now, I figured that would take a while, so to gather that, that's why I said the next meeting. My next question is about street sign poles. I thought when we originally got the new street signs that we were replacing all the poles as well. And maybe that was just my misunderstanding. I remember us discussing the cost of the poles, but I have noticed now that some poles have been replaced and some poles weren't. So my number one question is, are they not all being replaced? And if they're not all being replaced, how did we determine which ones get replaced and which ones don't? And that question doesn't have to be answered tonight either. That's just a question.
I think I remember. So these street sign poles, the black poles, we were changing out at state, like where the state met our city street. Those were the only ones. It was going to be really costly to do all of them.
I just didn't remember that was the
Yeah, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just couldn't, I had several people reach out to me and ask me, and I really hadn't, I mean, I'd noticed that the street signs had been replaced, but I really hadn't noticed that the poles weren't. I remembered that they were expensive, but I couldn't remember the rationale of which ones were getting replaced and which ones weren't, because I think we started that about 3 or 4 years ago, so. Okay, so it's where straight roads meet city streets. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Any other new business? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
So I never come in the front of the city building, but I did yesterday, and I noticed the curb's crumbling and the light fixtures are rusting. Are we going to do anything about like trying to make the front of the city building not look dilapidated?
I believe the lights are in this fiscal year's budget.
What about the curbs?
I will ask Kevin about the curb. I hadn't noticed it.
I know, we never come in the front,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
All right, we have first ordinance, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the city. This is adoption of the 2026 S10 supplement to the Code of Ordinances. Again, as a refresher, this is done yearly. If anyone ever wants to find our ordinances online, you go to American Legal. They're all there, and this is just adding the most recent ordinances through ordinance number 2590 onto that online platform. This is just a first reading.
All right, Ms. Hoffman, if you can note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City of Erlanger, Kenton County, Kentucky, amending the accounting policies and procedures manual. This is a pretty robust overhaul that has been done by Kara in concert, I think, with the new auditors. I think have kind of stirred this a little bit. Again, these are things that cities look at ever so often. It's certainly one of the benefits of rotating auditors every 3-4 years, different ideas, different eyes on it. Nothing necessarily that we had done wrong in the past, but just a little bit more robust policy in the future.
Okay, do I entertain that we adopt this municipal order as read? Mr. Hermes, Ms. Wilson, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, next is a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, adopting the investment policies. Again, this is the same kind of situation that we just now have a more formalized investment policy, not necessarily changing what has been done in practice.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this municipal order as read? Ms. Jasper Lucas, Ms. Nicely, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, next we have a resolution of the City of Erlanger, Kentucky, authorizing the acceptance of state funding for the Eons Adventure Park project pursuant to House Bill 900. This is a $1 million funding grant that will be distributed over a 2-year period for capital improvements associated with the Eons Adventure Park.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this resolution as read? Mr. Farmer, Ms. Wilson, any discussion? Yes.
Thank you. I do want to make a statement before we vote. The issues that Mr. Gatlin brought up tonight related to EONS and the memorandum of understanding are all questions that council has actually been asking for years, not recently, not just recently. And for the last few months, I have been requesting an agreement be created and approved by council between the EONS Preserve Fund and the city. While I'm glad it's finally being worked on now, it's not the first time it's been needed. The Preserve Fund has been called a partner of the city from the beginning, and in my opinion, that's when the agreement should have been created. I also requested this due to many questions that I have received from residents about the relationship between the two, and also due to several things I've heard regarding commingling of resources between the city and the current mayor's nonprofit that have already occurred. I believe this agreement needs to exist so there's transparency about Eons Park and the partnership with the Reserve Fund. However, this agreement does not yet exist and has not been reviewed and approved by council. Therefore, I will be voting no on tonight's resolution related to Eons Park funding. I do not feel comfortable giving the current mayor authority over spending the funds awarded by the state until an agreement between her nonprofit and the city exists.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next we have a resolution of the City of Erlanger, Kentucky, authorizing the master municipal lease agreement number 17170 between Lease Servicing, Inc., which is DBA NCL Government Capital, and the City of Erlanger. This is a little bit unique and a little bit more robust than we're used to, but this is the lease agreement that is being required by this entity. It has been budgeted. There's nothing that's changed there. It's just this lease agreement needs to be blessed by council as required by the lender of the lease agreement.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this resolution as read? Ms. Fields, Mr. Farmer, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. We've had a lot of announcements this evening, but are there any others? All right, do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Ms. Jasper Lucas, Mr. Farmer, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Have a good evening.